Hello and welcome. Hope everyone's doing alright. I am doing good. You're joining me for a nice dusk setting. I do appreciate a good cloud, and there are some very nice clouds there. It's not as dark as it seems. I just wanted to get you to see that. So anyway, I haven't done a tour for probably 3 weeks, a month now, so I thought we'd go around and just have a quick check on how everything's doing. May as well go around clockwise as we're down in this corner. So the Asplenium nidas is showing why it's a house plant. It has been absolutely battered by winds, rain, everything. I think the splotches are due to it probably sitting in a load of water, so we'll see how that does. I may take that one back inside because I have finished my office, so I've got some place for some plants in there anyway. So yeah, may take him in there to recover and maybe see how he does next year. The Monstera cutting I took a few, you can see the Monstera is really nice, like the colour of the leaves is really good. You can just see at the back there it's starting to send out another leaf now after a couple of months, so that is pretty good. The two Jurassic Golds, which were in the ticky head, sorry I should have moved my pot of rubbish there. Yeah, they're doing well. They're not really going to orange or red if you like, but yeah, they're still doing quite well. Over here in this little section here, which is the evening sun, the Trachylospernum jasminoides doesn't seem to be doing as well as it was. It's not dying, so I'm just going to leave that, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it'll do quite well. Other than that, the Sertonium down there is doing quite well. It's really sort of dark green down there. It's not got that lime green. I take it because that, as you can see with the seat right there, is pretty much full shade, but yeah, seems to be liking there. It's getting really big, and we've just got the little polysticum congestion down there, which is quite nice. You can see how close all the pini are together and things, so that's really nice. I may get another one of them and put it somewhere that's a bit more you know, viewable. That's not the word I'm looking for. A bit more where people can see it. Atrata doing quite well there, again going a bit yellow. The Blechnum spicant, which I put in the patio stone that had a crack in it, is doing well. You can see all the lime green on there, so he's doing quite nicely there. We've got the fat cedera there on the left. He's bushing really out now. The aphids have all gone. Unfortunately, I haven't tied it back to the fence, so it's actually leaning right out, so I will tap that back into the fence at some point to help it climb up a bit more vertical. It's also sending a new one up there on the right, a bit more variegated. Might leave that one to grow up straight, and then it'll fill that sort of area. Other than that, one we haven't seen for a while, which isn't doing too bad, is the maidenhair fern I put in there. You can see I get a load of bindweed around it, but it seems to be doing well there. It's not dead, so it's lasted longer than the other ones I had. So hopefully if that grows and cascades over all the banks and that, I will be more than happy. That's Adiantum vestunum, which is the Himalayan maidenhair, which is supposed to be pretty hardy as they go. At the back there, I can't remember what that is, but it's a little fern. You can see it's taken a dig and it's just regrowing now. This Dryopteris lepidopoda is doing nice, got that nice fine art finish to it, as opposed to the Atrata, which is kind of rough, shaggy look. This is very well pronounced, and it does come out really red. You can see there's one there on the left, but they've all matured at the moment. Other than that, this one here which I put in, which is the Korean rock fern, so this is a Polysticum susimense. It's doing really well. It's quite like I've got a veiny look to it, so yeah, quite like that one. We'll see how he does. Hopefully the grass won't take over it. Other than that, this splenium isn't doing too well in the vertical part. The others are all doing really well though, so maybe it's not getting any water down there or something. I haven't turned the irrigation on for ages, so yeah, we'll see. All the Nephrolopis cordifolias are all doing really well. You should see you will see the other ones in a minute, so pretty happy with that. The one I'm most happy with is this Cyathea. The other frond came out, as you can see. Just look at them. I mean, I don't know if you can really get a size of the scale on that. If I put my hand down on it, you can see it's a pretty beastly leaf, and that should get even bigger. We got another one coming up there, and I can actually see another 3 down in the centre that are ready to come out, and that's really bulked out, that thing, so it seems to like it there. Other than that, Dixonia sending out some more fronds. One of them got stuck under this old Cyathea frond and sort of warped a little bit, but we've got a few more coming up. As you can see, this one took a bit of a hit with the winter, so yeah, we'll just leave that and leave it to do what it does. This Fatsia is doing really well, looks really nice and glossy and is really overhanging, which is what I want to go all the way around this, so the play area, in case the little one falls off the climbing frame, is big enough that he won't smash his head on anything. But if it could be covered with plants, that would be even better. So moving along, we've got the Atrata. There's one that we always forget down there, the Polypodium vulgare, which is really nice. Just sort of is pretty bulletproof, to be honest with you. It's full sun and full shade it loves. You can see the Atrata there on the left is doing quite well, not quite as burnt as the other ones, and the Cyathea I put in there is doing really well. Look at that, it's sized up so much already, that one, so really happy with that, because I only went in the ground a couple of months ago. Really good. And then dead Fatsia leaf, which we'll get to in a minute, and then the Setiferum Herrenhausen is there as well. So with this one, what I'm hoping is when the Atrata fronds fall down and this thing sizes up, they'll cover the crown of the Cyathea in the middle, so that in winter it's just got a bit more protection. This Monstera is sending out another leaf as well. Like I said in the last one, I put it the wrong way round. I meant it to climb up the fig tree, but I guess I'll just have to leave it now and see what happens. Speaking of the fig tree, may as well have a quick update on that. Loads of little animals on it. I say little animals, ants, so there must be some aphids there, but it seems pretty tough, that thing. I think what I'll do is I'll chop that one branch coming off the back towards the fence, so that when it gets big it doesn't hit the fence. And then what I'll do with these is I'll sort of tie them back against the fence and do it, I can't think what they call that, is it fan training it? So yeah, other than that, around here everything's looking nice. I love how lush that Asplenium Scolopendrium's looking at the bottom there. There's 3 in there, or 4 if you count the frilly one at the back left. But yeah, it looks really nice, that sort of undergrowth feel. It gives a good sort of vibe, because all the woods around here are covered in them, so yeah, it feels good. This Fatsia is still not really loving life. It has sort of, the whole stem had gone that, you see the top sort of 5 inches is gone like brown. The whole stem was like that a couple of weeks ago, and it's sort of drying out by the look of it now. So you can see the one at the back's got a nice fat grow point on it that's coming out. This one not yet, so I'll see how it does and we'll go from there. So again, we've got this Cyathea coming out the middle towards us. You can see these fronds here coming out the centre, and then we've got the Herrenhausen on the left and another Setiferum to the right, which will again cover all the crown of it and hopefully give it some protection in winter. And probably what I might do for the winter is run my over soil heating circuit out to this Cyathea and leave this one as it is, and see if one survives and one doesn't, as if whether I need it again or not. Schefflera taiwaniana is doing alright. Some of these leaves are starting to gloss up now. This is one that had a bit of a dig when I went on a holiday in early June, and all the leaves drooped, but it's bounced back, so I'm pretty happy with that. Much better than the other Schefflera, which we'll get to in a minute. Again, another Spicant there. I love these. They're nice and Jurassic, nice and easy, nice and cheap, and they just keep going by the look of it. And you can see these bright yellow flowers are starting to come up on this Pilostagia verbenoides, so that's quite nice. Adds a bit of colour to it, as you can see now. Happy with that. Moving on to the Blechnum chilense. It's doing really well there, loves it there, so I'm happy to just let that roll with the times. This oh yeah, cheers to everyone for not telling me that I wasn't pronouncing the Lamatia ferruginea correctly. I was calling it Lamatia ferruginea. So, but yeah, this thing's going, it should develop into a little tree, so be a slow grower I expect, but you can see we're getting plenty of growth on that, so that's all right. we've got the deciduous ferns running around the back of all this. So on the bottom left, as we're looking at it, is an ostrich fern. Then we've got the lady fern, the Ethereum Felix femina, and then at the back, covered by, just poking through that back tetrapanax leaf, is the royal fern. Speaking of the tetrapanax, you can see it's somewhat bounced back. That sacrificial leaf is still there above the Lophosauria. I'm just going to leave it there. You can see this one's taking a dig now, but it's starting to outpace the others. They're still not quite as pert. You can see the one on the right is sort of sagging a little bit, so, and it has been getting a lot of rain, so yeah, I'm just gonna have to leave it and hope we get some more sun and it dries out a little bit, but otherwise I'm quite happy it's not dead basically. But it is girthing up quite nicely, and it's got a little lean on it, which is always a good little effect. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Moving on to the centre bed, if we have a look at the bananas from this angle, actually they're really getting some, really bushing out. And this is the thing with them, I mean, I want to try and enclose the spaces, if you see what I mean, so it's more like 2 or 3 rooms in the garden than, you know, like one big garden. And when they're like this, they're just fantastic. The way they sort of are short, that, you know, it's smaller, thinner at the bottom, and then they sort of get wider and wider as they go up, and they sort of overhang into each other. That's the exact effect I want. The only trouble with them is with them not being evergreen, you know, we get, this is like they're just about to reach their sort of perfect situation for what I want them for, and in a couple of months time they're probably going to die off. So this middle bed is a massive conundrum for me at the moment. Just what I'm going to do with it at the moment. I'm happy to roll with the times and let it just do what it's going to do, everything in there. But honestly, what I've been thinking is that no one plant in that middle bed is secure in its, like, you know, long-term situation, but I'm in no rush to change them. They look good, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. My biggest idea at the moment is in the center to put something like a 6-foot tree fern in a few years time when I can afford it, because that'll give the big fronds and be thin in the middle, high at the top, and give a big canopy. And especially if I change that for a big 6-foot tree fern as well on the left, the banana, and then dot like lower, like maybe, I don't know, it's difficult, isn't it? It is difficult, but yeah, we keep going. Let's have a quick closer look, because we're starting to run out of light. So most of these are doing okay. You can see the gingers come up, the head of Kiam there, he's doing quite nicely. The sword fern's doing all right there towards us. Other than that, just same old with the Erythrosaura, which we can't see, the Walkabout on the right, which we can just about see. This Atrata over here is actually throwing out some new leaves, new fronds now. You can see this one coming directly towards us, got that lovely look about it. Just look at it, absolutely perfect. But it's it is shaggy. I do like the look of it, but I think when it gets a bit of sun, it just loses something. And speaking of getting a bit of sun, if we have a look at the one that's in full sun, you'll see what I mean. it does not like it. So that one will be coming out at some point. I'll probably at the moment gonna put something like an Aphenis in there, which we'll get to, because they seem to like the full sun. This one here is an Aphenis pindarini, so a variation, and it's barely been touched by the sun, but it's quite a key one, that Atrata on the right, because I need it to come up and overhang that wall, so it sort of hangs right out over. But yeah, we'll think about it. I'm in no rush. Like I said, it all looks pretty good as it is at the moment, and things will only get better. So we'll come up here. I'm having big trouble with this stuff here. Oh, this stuff, I keep pulling out, it just keeps coming back. I really don't want to take that thing out, but I think I might have to, and sort of sanitize the soil a little bit just to get everything out. But yeah, he's doing all right. This thing's throwing out some new fronds, the old Ariostega pravipinata. Canna's doing really well. I'd say they're probably about 6 foot. So not quite as tall as last year, but then we're not actually, we've had no sun yet, so if August gets pretty good, it could be could go some. You see the bananas here do really well. Just absolute monsters. They've been torn to shreds. I mean, look at the state of them. But they do, like this one here has been torn to shreds, but when it sits like that, it's actually not too bad. It's the ones that split, but some of them are actually, they are nice, the bananas, aren't they? I keep sort of talking myself in and out of them. It's just the fact they're not evergreen is a real bugger. But yeah, if you think of what I was saying about framing it, You just like look at that, how they're thin at the bottom and then closing. If you think in a month's time, or if it hadn't been windy, you wouldn't be able to see that house at the back from the leaves at the top, and then the middle ones would kind of kiss the barbecue, if that makes sense, and then the ones at the bottom would kind of take up that section and just hide the walls, and that would be such a good effect. But it's not worth it for only 2 months of the year. So, and they're going absolutely crazy, taking over everything. So other than that, this bed I'm really happy with at the moment. I put that Strelitza in at the back. I actually put it in the ground. It's not in a pot. It was only a cheap one from Tesco. You can see it looks a bit rough, but one thing it did open up is just that style leaf with the featheriness of the ferns really contrast quite well, I think. So I'm gonna have to look for a fern kind of like the Scolopendriums, but something about 3 times the size. That would be really good. So if anyone knows one, do let me know. Other than that, the Lonicera hildebrandiana is really going some. You can see it climbing around here. It's come all the way around the back, all the way up here, and he's just sticking his head out here now. I keep sort of tucking that one back down. Even the ones at the back are going alright, and you can see this one's jutting right up. So this one that's jutting right up towards us in the centre, I'll tuck that behind the Strelitza and into the trellis, and hopefully that'll come up over the bench. The other one I'll tuck behind the trellis, and hopefully that'll run up under the lizard's tail, and that's exactly what I want to be doing with it. So I'll be happy with that. But other than that, the Lophosaurus doing the Nephrolopis doing really well as well. So yeah, good stuff. Getting on to the last bit now. So yeah, this Nephrolopis, I keep wanting to say Nephrolopises, but I guess it's Nephrolopi or Nephrolopis or Nephrolopises. I don't know. The Nephrolopises are really liking it, whichever way it goes. Camellia's doing quite well. This thing, the Hypoltis punctata, is really going crazy. It's just got so many new fronds coming up all the time. Yeah, probably too crazy for the garden, but we will see. You never know. Little Cyathea is bouncing back a bit. You can just see it's got a lot of more green leaves on it now, green fronds. So yeah, that one should be all right. At the back, the other Sheffield, you can see the Erythrosaura there. Look at the tinge on it, like that orange tinge. Really good. What will happen with that is that it'll go dark green, and then in winter, bearing in mind it's evergreen, it'll go lime green, and it will really pop out that bed. So yeah, great fern. Bulletproof as well. Survived -8 easy last year. Didn't even think about it. I think I'm having a fancier situation with this Sheffield rhodendifloria. I haven't weeded the pot either, looking at it. But yeah, it did have some leaves, and now they're all sort of collapsing the grow point. So I think it's because it's sat in water, even though there's none coming out, and it's quite free soil, that. So yeah, I'm wondering if the gutter join up there is dripping. It looks a bit black, so I wonder if it's dripping on top of that. But yeah, we will see at some point. I'll probably put that one inside. Other than that, Ensetti's doing all right in the pot. There's just a couple of house plants that died that I'm reviving. Funny enough, that bromeliad was like literally like hay. It was all you can see the end of it, and then the Ensetti leaves have been diverting the rain into the pot. That's actually sat in water, that bromeliad, and within 3 days everything started turning green again. So I would have thought it would have been the other way around, but there you go. Then other than that, we've got the other banana pup there. One thing I did note, actually, one thing you should know that I did, is I actually finally put the outside sockets in. So that is a Wi-Fi repeater socket on the right. You can probably just see that blue light flashing in it because I haven't set it up yet. I only did it earlier. And then a light switch. And what I'm going to do with the lights I worked out is, bearing in mind this is going to be a pergola, is you'll walk out the house, and then there'll be 2 of the sensor lights here between the door and the window, and the window in the garage. They'll come on as you walk out the door, and then you walk on, turn one of the switches. That will do the light that's going at the back behind the Tetrapanax, which will be 2 spotlights, one onto the patio, one onto the climbing frame, and then I'll put 2 lights on the front of these 2 posts, pointing down into what will be a putting green. You can just see I've just done some top dressing earlier, so it's going quite well, that. So yeah, really going forward, pergola's the big one. I'm just, you know, building myself up to get the wood. What I like to do is work everything out, like I said last time on my last video, work out what I need there. There you go. I need some 5x2 and some 9x2, but instead of going to buy it straight away, I just sit on it for a couple of weeks and just make sure that it's all right in my mind. So that's a bit of a long-term thing to do. Other than that, really, I'm going to finish that trellising off at the back there. You can see just the top of it, and run it across the top of the fence post behind the bamboo. And utilities is the next one. So the next thing I'm going to do is run the heating circuit, the oversoil heating circuit, out as far as I need to, put some coils in just so it's ready, because I know what'll happen, what I'm like. I won't do anything, and then suddenly we'll have a cold snap in October and it'll kill everything. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, other than that, I'm ready for the 2 climbers, I think, or the 4 climbers. The Hydrangea Samanios down by the Fatsia on the left, and then the Clematis almandii over behind the Tetrapanax once I get rid of those deciduous ones. Yeah, other than that, it's looking good. Sunset's gone now. Oh no, it's still there. Lovely stuff. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good day and everyone's gardens are looking good. Hopefully we get some good weather now, and because of the amount of rain, everything should come back really lush. So yeah, good times. Anyway, it's been far too long. See you next time.